Imagine a kingdom at peace. The streets are calm, the markets bustling, and the treasury overflowing. At first glance, this seems like a ruler's dream, a period free from rebellion, famine, or foreign invasion. Yet, history whispers a counterintuitive truth. Peace can be far more dangerous than war for those in power. Today, we delve into the subtle peril that tranquility poses to rulers, uncovering lessons from East Asian history that remain strikingly relevant even in our modern world. While war forces immediate action, peace tests the skill, patience, and foresight of a ruler in ways that are invisible but profound. For most of human history, rulers have faced the immediate, visceral threats of war, armies to raise, borders to defend, enemies to conquer. War, despite its brutality, clarifies power. It forces rulers to display authority decisively, to command loyalty through visible actions, and to rally the population around a common cause. In ancient China, for instance, the warring states period demanded constant vigilance. Kings and generals alike knew that failure in strategy or misjudgment of allies could end dynasties. Paradoxically, this constant state of danger also served as a stabilizer, as citizens were willing to endure hardship, taxation, and strict rule because survival depended on unity under a capable ruler. Peace, however, removes that clarity. When armies are idle, borders secure, and resources abundant, the very population that once rallied to a ruler's side begins to scrutinize their every decision. Dynasties often faced internal decay not during wars, but in extended periods of peace. The Han Dynasty, after centuries of expansion and consolidation, experienced bureaucratic bloating, corruption, and complacency. Officials, enjoying years without external threat, became more interested in personal gain than statecraft. In a stable kingdom, subjects have time to question legitimacy. Authority is no longer enforced by immediate survival. It must be constantly negotiated, justified, and reinforced. Peace erodes authority subtly but cumulatively. Prosperous and secure citizens begin to value personal liberty over collective obedience. Minor grievances, long ignored during wartime, gain attention. Taxation, once accepted as necessary for defense, now seems burdensome. Policies unquestioned under the shadow of invasion provoke resistance. Consider Japan during the Edo period. The Tokugawa shogunate maintained over 2 centuries of peace, a time of cultural flourishing. Yet even this seemingly stable era was fraught with invisible danger. Samurai, once warriors, became idle administrators, and the shogunate invested immense energy in monitoring loyalty, preventing uprisings, and controlling information. The human mind, conditioned for conflict, struggles under prolonged calm. Rulers accustomed to decisive action in wartime find that peace demands negotiation, persuasion, and careful balance among competing factions. Mistakes in diplomacy or administration, once minor, can fester into larger crises because the population has both the time and means to resist quietly. In Korea's Joseon dynasty, kings had to navigate delicate court factions. Periods without military threat were periods of political maneuvering, literary debates, and ideological conflicts that could destabilize governance as effectively as any invasion. Peace becomes an invisible battlefield, where perception and influence are paramount. Across East Asia, a pattern emerges. Periods of peace demand more nuanced authority than periods of war. The Qin dynasty achieved rapid unification through fear and decisive action, yet its downfall came in relative peace, when resentment and logistical challenges compounded. The Tang dynasty faced internal rebellion during prosperity, not merely from external threats. The Ming dynasty, celebrated for naval expeditions and culture, eventually crumbled under slow internal decay rather than direct military defeat. War provides a framework for visible authority, while peace exposes fragility. Rulers must be vigilant, creative, and strategic even when swords rest in their sheaths. This insight applies even today. Modern governments face invisible threats, economic instability, civil unrest, and ideological shifts. A nation without visible enemies may encounter challenges in corruption, social division, and decay of institutions. Political scientists note that prolonged economic growth and stability can paradoxically destabilize governance. When citizens' expectations rise faster than institutions adapt, dissatisfaction grows quietly, and rulers may face crises that appear sudden, but have been brewing beneath the surface. Peace requires as much strategic acumen as war, sometimes more, because threats are invisible, unpredictable, and diffuse. Historically, Effective rulers understood peace as active, not passive. They implemented reforms, encouraged cultural patronage, and maintained oversight to prevent complacency. Tokugawa shoguns developed alternate attendants, Sankin-kei, to monitor daimyo. Chinese emperors inspected provinces, adjusted bureaucracies, and promoted meritocracy to sustain control. Authority during peace must be continuously performed and reinforced. The ruler must make citizens feel protected and guided even when no immediate threats exist. Subtlety becomes as important as strength, perception as critical as power, and management of expectations can determine the survival of a dynasty. In the end, peace is deceptively dangerous, hiding its perils behind calm skies, while war forces visible action and immediate compliance. Tranquility tests the ruler's skill in perception, negotiation, and internal management. Many dynasties fell not to armies, but to corruption, complacency, and unheeded grievances during extended peace. The more secure the kingdom seems, the more vigilant the ruler must remain. Authority is constantly negotiated and psychologically reinforced. If this exploration of the hidden dangers of peace intrigued you, don't miss our next video, the oldest power trick still used today. Follow now to discover how ancient lessons still shape modern power.